It's still very warm outside, and yet the traditional end of summer travel is right around the middle of August. And if you think about a normal year, that's about when many school districts are going back or kids are getting ready to go back to school. Businesses tend to be ramping up travel at that point. So family travel is pretty much over for this summer now. So there is a seasonal drop that the industry would expect at this point that could explain some of that credit card spend. But I think Southwest is right when they say there's a little more reticence and nervousness about traveling again, given the Delta variant, too.
My guess is that mid-August to the end of September, probably two of the slowest months for airline travel. Are you also hearing about an uptick in cancellations as perhaps big business conventions step back from having large gatherings?
Well, convention travel traditionally is about 20% of all business travel. And obviously, anyone hoping to organize or run a big convention this fall has to be thinking twice about whether or not that makes sense and whether people would come. So if those start being canceled, and I know a big auto show up north was recently canceled, if those are canceled, then airlines probably are going to pull back some capacity. But canceling a flight 6 weeks out doesn't really disrupt customers very much. It's the short-term cancellations that causes the customer disruptions.
Yeah, quite obviously. I'm curious as well what impact the vaccine mandates or lack thereof are having been and how you would expect that issue to continue to evolve.
Well, obviously United Airlines has announced that they want all of their employees to be vaccinated. On the other hand, American, Delta, and Southwest have all said they're not going to do that. Delta put out an interesting statement saying that 75% of their people were already vaccinated and 5 to 10% probably would meet some exemption. So they were sort of minimizing the mandate, saying it would only affect, a relatively small percentage. I think every company in the U.S. is having this debate right now, guys, in terms of thinking, how do we keep our people safe? How do we keep our customers safe? In the airline sense, obviously, customers may feel a little better getting on board an airplane when they know everyone they get in touch with that airline has been vaccinated. That said, I'm sure I can't be the only one to say that the two airlines in Texas are not doing it, but the one in Illinois is.
Let's talk a little bit. You mentioned a moment ago how disruptive those immediate or short-term cancellations are. And your alma mater in the business, Spirit, had a true meltdown last week. 2,000 flights canceled, all kinds of chaos, doing, I think, a ton of long-term reputational damage to Spirit Airlines. What went wrong there? Did they just not have enough staff to accommodate the seats they'd sold, or what?
Well, I think this is largely an execution problem for Spirit. They've spent the last 5 years doing a really good job of becoming more customer friendly, improving their on time, and being really shedding a reputation of being somewhat indifferent to customers. But they've given all that back in the last couple of weeks by stranding all these customers. They've said it's a mix of IT and weather and staff, but it really comes down to all staffing. Spirit was one of just a couple airlines in the U.S. that was very aggressive about adding a lot of capacity for the summer and really putting out a lot of seats trying to take advantage of a spike in leisure demand. And yet it seems that they didn't have the operational side of the business in line with the strategy side to have enough people.